What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Jacob Wall Fishing. This week we're going to be going over some late summer, early fall transition ledge fishing when these fish are still out there deep, but they've been beat on, they've been pressured, and they're kind of hard to catch. So stay tuned. I'm going to share with you guys some tips and tricks of how I go out there and catch the fish late in the season. This was from about a month ago, so that information isn't going to be as viable right now, but for next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that, this info is going to be crucial. So you guys stay tuned. Hopefully you enjoy, hopefully you learned something, and if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free, it's easy. Just hit a button, boom, you're subscribed, and you get to see my pretty face every week. So hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Start with something a little bit more finessey to, first thing. There's a few different approaches. I personally I've recently been really liking to start finessey with them, and then I will throw more reaction. Although some days they want it, it just depends. In some well, all schools are different. Some of these schools of fish like reaction, some of them like something finesse. So my rule of thumb is I don't think a finesse bait's going to intimidate the fish very much. It's not going to scare them. So I like to start there, and if they don't bite it, then I really haven't screwed the school up a whole lot. So then I can go more to my reaction baits. And if that blows the school out and kind of ruins the spot, then it's like I've already tried the finesse and I know they're not really going to bite that either. So I personally like to start with the finesse. But if I'm in a tournament or if I'm fishing where I'm trying to be high percentage and trying to catch the biggest fish I possibly can out of the school, say I already have a limit and I'm trying to go for a kicker, then that's when I'm probably going to pick up that big crankbait or that scrounger or that hair jig or big spoon or something more reactive. And that's when I'll start with that rather than the finesse. But if I'm just out here fun fishing and I'm just trying to catch a bunch of fish, I really like to start with the finesse stuff. And like I said, even in a tournament, there's one. First cast. Check that out, guys. That's how easy it is. Oh, that's a solid fish too. Not bad. It's my first cast out here on Guntersville today. Oh, he's a strong guy. Not bad, little bass. Sweet. So, like I said, good way to start is with the finesse. So that was on the Ned rig. That's on the big TRD. He kind of twisted it up a little bit. Big TRD, and this is actually on a jig head that I get from GTO. Guntersville Tackle and Outdoors. That's, I can't remember who pours that, but they have them in some 10 packs. They're a really nice jig head. The reason I like these a lot, I like them a lot for largemouth, and I especially like them a lot for this big TRD because they have a bigger hook and they go back in the bait a little bit more. And I think for largemouth, that hook is the deal. If I'm throwing the small TRD and I'm fishing for smallies, I like the Z-Man head or something with a little bit smaller hook. But that guy fell for it first throw out there with the Ned rig. So a little 1.5-pounder. We'll get him back, see if there's more that want to bite. There were probably, from what I could see when I idled over him there with my side scan and with my down imaging, it looked to me like there were probably 50 or 60 bass down there. Really hard to tell the size on them. A lot of the times there'll be big ones mixed in. So we'll get this guy back. We'll keep throwing the finesse stuff until they stop really biting it, and then we might try to fire them up with the crankbait. So let's get them back in the water, guys. Sweet. That was my first cast out here on Guntersville today. So that's a prime example, guys, of why I don't fish until I've seen what I want to see. And I know that sounds crazy, but some days you'll go out and you'll scan all day. You'll scan for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and you will not see a school of fish like I just found right here at all. And that is the most difficult thing in the world, to continue to look when you're not seeing what you want to see. But let me tell you, once you find them, once you found an active school of fish, and once you know what you're looking for on the side scan, on the down imaging, it's so much more productive to just wait until you find the group of fish that you're looking for. Wait until you find an absolute, for sure, pile of bass. So that right there is a testament to that. There's another bite. Oh my God, we got another one, guys. Oh my gosh, these fish are fired up. That feels bigger. Oh, it's a nice one. Oh yeah, baby, 2 in a row. So there you go, guys. That is a true testament to that. Oh, that's a nice fish. That's much better than that other one. He choked that Ned rig. Let's see if we can't get this guy in the boat. Super cool, guys. That is why I use that side scan. That is why I use that. Ooh, that's a nice one. Definitely bigger than that first guy. Has that Ned rig choked. Let's grab him. Oh, we got him. He's kind of skinny. Oh man, did he choke that thing. And I did not let him have it for very long at all. Look at that, guys. Got it down there. I want to get this guy unhooked really quick. I don't want him to bleed or anything. He's kind of skinny. I don't know why he's so skinny. Oh, cool. We got it out. Same deal though, guys. Ned rig. Gonna get him back. That's a solid one. Probably 2 1/4. Close to 2 1/2. Should be like a 2 3/4. He's just kind of thin. But nice one. Kind of weird. He's got his eyes shrunk back in his head. Not real healthy fish, but you know, same deal, guys. We know exactly where those fish are. We dropped a waypoint on them. And then what I like to do is on my front screen here, let me get this guy back and I'll show you. So what I like to do is I like to take and put my cursor. So what I mean by that is here's my waypoints. Let me make sure you guys are dry because I did get splashed. So here's my group of waypoints. I've actually caught fish on that exact spot before. But what I'm gonna do is that 591, that little purple fish, I'm gonna put my cursor directly on top of that waypoint. Boom, we're on the waypoint. So what that's gonna do is down here on the bottom left-hand screen, it's gonna tell me the coordinates, which, there you guys go. There's my waypoint. There's where the fish are. If you wanna come catch them, I guess you're getting that info. But we're 78.2 feet away. That is key info. That right there is the juice. So once you figure out what distance they are, you know how far to cast. And I know they're this direction, so I'm making about an 80 foot, 90 foot cast. That direction, letting my Ned rig sink to the bottom, and then I'm just dragging it. And I know those fish, that big group of fish that we found, I know that group of fish is right here. They're 70, probably more like 60 to 90 feet away, because I marked that waypoint dead smack in the middle of that school, and the school expanded from, you know, a little bit further to the back and the forward. So we're just following right, you know, basically in and around that school fish with our little finesse bait here, and we're picking them off. We've caught 2 so far. Let's see if we can get a couple more. I bet we can. I mean, that was the first 2 casts right there on that school fish. So let's see what we can't do. Guys, so I'm going to tell you really quickly here what rod I'm using for the Ned rig. This is the Phoenix Feather. This is a 7'1" medium. It is a fantastic rod for the Ned rig. It's got just enough tip to where I can feel like really, really well. I can tell when that Ned rig is bouncing rock or shell. I can tell when it's, you know, hitting soft bottom, and I can really detect the softest of bites. I really like this rod a lot. It's a great finesse rod. It's not just good for the Ned rig. It works good for a variety of finesse techniques. I've got that paired up with some 10-pound Phoenix Hydra braid. I'm using green today. You know, I do like a brighter braid. I know you guys heard me talk about that in my last video. This just happens to be what's on here. This is Phoenix Hydra braid. Phoenix doesn't make this 10-pound braid in a brighter color, so I need to talk to Vince over there at Phoenix and see if we can't come out with like a yellow in this 10-pound yellow or white, you know, in the 10-pound. But the Hydra braid's really nice and slick. Casts really good. Got that with a 2500 size reel, and we've got an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader off of this to our 1/4 ounce Ned rig down to that big TRD. One thing I'm not sure if a lot of guys mention is that after you catch a fish on a bait like this, especially on lighter line, a lot of the times the fish will eat the bait and the line will actually get kind of roughed up or frayed ahead of where the nose of the bait is or the line tie. It's kind of something that you wouldn't really think would happen from the teeth of the fish, but a lot of these bass, especially out here that are chasing shad, they have real sharp teeth. they will fray that line up. So I check my line fairly often, just trying to make sure there's no nicks in there, no damage. Especially when you're using this 8-pound leader, you don't want to hook a fish and have any kind of damage on your line. So guys, we tried a bunch of baits. We tried the crankbait, I tried a scrounger, I tried 2 different crankbaits. I tried a 10XD and I tried an 8XD. This guy's barely hooked. Might be able to get him in. And I couldn't get him to bite anything. So I picked up the Ned rig again. Barely got that guy, look at that. Just barely got him. He didn't really want to eat it. Super fat, unlike those other ones. That's a solid one, like 2.5 probably for sure. Really nice healthy fish. So anyway, I picked up those other baits, couldn't get him to bite at all. Picked that Ned rig back up, and I think that was my first cast after picking it back up, and I caught that nice fat. Look at that, feeding up for fall. Super fat, largemouth. Probably 2.5 pounds on the Ned rig. Same deal, same setup. So a lot of these fish, you know, like I'm looking at this fish inside its mouth. This fish has been caught for sure once before at least. I see a hook mark in here. Possibly even twice. Yeah, look, here's another hook mark. This fish has been caught twice. I caught it a 3rd time. So a lot of these fish are really pressured. So a lot of the times, these schools of bass, this late in the year like this, you've got to downsize, you've got to fish something finesse. So that's why I think that Ned rig is being so productive. But that is a chunk of a fish. Look how fat that one is. Get this guy back here. Thanks, buddy. So we're just going to keep chucking the Ned rig. I've got a drop shot tied on as well. I haven't picked that up yet. So we'll keep throwing the Ned rig. If we make a few more casts and don't get bit, I'll probably pick up that drop shot and rotate that through. Try that in this spot. But essentially, we're just rotating through baits. I mean, I just tried, like I said, some reaction stuff. Tried that scrounger for a cast. Tried those 2 different, you know, that 10 and that 8XD. Tried a couple different angles on them. I even drifted back a little bit and tried a different angle on them, and that's where I just got that bite. But they seem to be pretty finicky. I got bit right away, really fast. I don't think the fish really knew that I was here. I just idled over them once and then fired back in there, and it's a good way to catch them. Especially, you know, if they're pressured, it's a good way to catch them with something finesse like that. Just pick it up immediately, throw it in there, and you should be able to pick some fish up. So that was number 3. Let's keep chucking around this school of fish. There's a bunch more down there. I can see them on the active target when it pans over there. I'm spot locked, so I'm not like trying to look at these fish on the active target. I know they're right over here, and I know they use this little corner of this spot to hold on, so I know they're not moving around a whole lot. Every once in a while though, that active target or that trolling motor will pan with the active target, and I'll see a little group of fish. So I know they're still sitting over there. There's a bunch of them over there. I try to stay anywhere from 60 to 80 feet away from the school of fish. I feel like if you get a whole lot closer than 60 feet, you kind of, you know, you put pressure from just your presence on those fish. And the more comfortable they feel down there, the more likely you're going to get them to bite, especially the bigger ones. Haven't gotten a big one yet, but I would be surprised if there's not a big one down there. Look at that one, guys. That one was pretty sweet. They started coming up chasing bait. That's a freaking football right there. That's a 3 1/4. Look how stocky that fish is. Man, that thing's stocky. But they came up chasing bait fish. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled. I don't wanna hold this fish too long because they're probably gonna come up again. They seemed like big ones. We got perfect conditions for them to come up and chase on top. That school of fish, what happened was a bunch of shad probably swam over top of them, and then they corralled them and pushed them to the surface. And I just kind of led them with that topwater lure. And this chunk came up and crushed it. Nice. All right, guys, we're gonna get a quick weight on this fish. I just am curious. I was actually going down in here to get some scent to put on my Ned rig because I know that those fish are down there kind of looking at it. And I wanted to add a little bit of scent to it just to maybe entice them a little bit better to bite it. And as I was leaning down there, they started blowing up. So yeah, that's a quality fish, 3-pounder, 3.06. Or 3.02, I guess, it kind of locked on. Solid fish, super chunky, stocky fish. I just put it in the scale, maybe get our best 5 or something for the day. Really, really nice quality fish. But I always keep a topwater tied on, especially when I'm fishing out deep this time of the year. Really, I mean, in the fall right now, you've got to have a walking style topwater tied on for that reason alone if they start coming up busting. So we're gonna get a quick picture for the Instagram and we'll get this guy back. One thing that I was just thinking about that I feel like is kind of important information is I do pay attention to the release schedule and like how they're releasing water for the day. I think it is pretty important to pay attention to that. A lot of the times I'll try to tell myself like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, you can go out and catch them no matter what. But the truth of it is, on these Tennessee River lakes, Guntersville, Chickamauga, Pickwick, honestly, I shouldn't say Pickwick because I haven't even fished there before, but I know for a fact on Guntersville and Chickamauga, if you're not, you know, if you don't have good current, you're probably not going to catch fish very well. You can catch them and you can have good days with low current, but they just typically scatter more. They don't group up like they should. They don't get on the right spots, you know, where they normally would. So definitely keep an eye on that release schedule. Right now we've got like 33,000 today, which is moderate. It's not like great. You know, for like middle of the summer when there's really not a whole lot of rain, that's really good release. But if it's, you know, in that 40 or more, typically those fish are really going to set up good on these on these ledges, on the heads of these spots. That's another thing too, is I've really found that a lot of the times these fish set up on the noses or the heads of stuff. What I mean by that is if you've got like a big underwater hump, they're going to be on the up current side, not the down current side. They'll either be on the up current side or they'll be on top of it. I wouldn't say never, but I almost never find them on the back side. They're almost always going to be on the front side or on top. And that has a lot to do with the current. I think they sit there. The current's not crazy strong, but it's strong enough to like drift bait and drift stuff down into them. And I think the reason they set there in the heads is because that's the first spot that stuff gets washed into. So definitely pay attention to the current schedule, or the release schedules, which is basically going to relay to how much current there is in the lake. And the more current, more likely they're going to be set up on the heads of stuff better. They're going to be grouped up tighter, and I think that they're a little bit more aggressive and a little bit easier to catch. So definitely pay attention to that when you come out. Say it's going to be a low current kind of day or low release day. You might want to go shallow. You might want to frog this time of the year. You might want to punch. You might want to do that kind of stuff. But if they're really ripping current really hard, it's a good time to fish out here offshore. Today's just kind of a moderate day. They don't have a whole lot of current going, but it's not bad by any means. But I just felt like that was important. Not a lot of people talk about that, I feel like. And I really do think that makes a big difference. Well, I should say not a lot of people that do YouTube videos that I've watched talk about that. I'm sure that there's people out there that do. Another little chunk on the Ned rig again. They just came up busting here, and I grabbed the top water and I had one smoke it, but it fouled it up, and then they didn't come back for it. But definitely chasing bait fish around. That's a solid chunky one, probably 2 1/4. Nice healthy fish. That one doesn't look like it's been caught before. Nice, get them back. I'll make a few more casts. I gotta head out pretty soon, but it's hard to leave them when they're biting. Little guy on the Ned rig. Got it. Get him back, see if we can get another one. About to head in. Craft over one last spot. Got that nice little chunk. Nothing too crazy, but hey, we'll take them. Got the blood pumping.